Today, I talk about craft store dragons, the type of dragons that you would find in Michael's craft stores and Hobby Lobby. Now, I'm going to show you some cell phone footage which may or may not have come from either of those stores. So the first thing you'll probably notice as you walk in is the Tubes miniatures, which I have talked about in detail in a previous video. And then you'll probably notice some of the more fancier fantasy dragons, such as these safari dragons. They're interesting, but the quality is just very... You'll notice some have very nice, sharp detail, and then others just kind of look like terrible kind of toys, and usually the prices reflect this. They've been getting kind of fancy with the colors recently, and some of these are going to be useful, but the vast majority of these probably won't. And with the prices this high, generally speaking, unless you have a coupon, you probably should just get an actual dragon miniature, spend the extra couple bucks. But there are a couple here which would look really nice if you kind of repainted them, or if you were in a bind and you just need a dragon for a game and you happen to have a 50% off coupon. I think this would be an excellent source, the Safari miniatures. Looking down below, we can see some of the old school Safari sculpts still in circulation. The big Chimera, a big favorite among people. You can see the deep dragon next to it. Here's some newer stuff, some brightly colored Hydrads. The old school Phoenix that's been around for a while. Pretty good deal for that if you can get a coupon. And here's some Safari Dinosaurs. I'm a little bit disappointed. I remember Safari having some really nice dinosaurs, but they just don't seem to stock them in store anymore. And at the other place, it's the same deal, the Tubes in slightly different packaging, but it's the same stuff in there. And here we have some old school Papo stuff. I felt so weirded out because these have been here so long, they're all beat up. At least the ones on the right were, and I mean, I don't think they sell these anymore, unfortunately, because I was looking around and these guys didn't even have price tags, so I was a little bit disappointed. I'll talk about that a little bit later in the video. Here we have some of the smaller Papo miniatures. And the small ones are okay, but not as impressive as the bigger ones, obviously. And looking before, some of these the animal ones are really nice, actually. Now, this is a different company. I believe this starts with an M. It's like Mojo. And their dragons are really not very good. The detail on them just kind of stinks. Yeah, just something about them. Didn't really like them. They look okay. But, yeah, Mojo, no thank you. Moving along to the second part of the video, I found this Papo miniature in a thrift store. Now, this is a miniature that is still in production, but now they paint it green to make it more useful for D&D. But I kind of liked the gold one, but this one I got for $4.99. And the only issue was it was all beat up. The tail bit is missing. There's dings and scrapes and broken horns on this thing. So I decided to make this a little project where I would resuscitate this very you can see there the tips of the horns are broken off. Obviously, some little kid had a blast playing with this thing. So this is a little project to get this thing back into dragon shape. Or just try to match the colors as best I can to repair the broken bits on the horns. And I ended up doing a little dry brushing to make the horns have a little bit more shading in there to blend that in well. I fixed all the wingtips that had gotten all beaten up from usage. And the tail, I would have to use green stuff to actually sculpt it. Now, I was dumb and I didn't look up what the actual original tail looked like. This kind of seemed like a mutant gold dragon, so I decided to sculpt it to make it look like a big kind of tooth tail, kind of a disgusting thing. It's a really mutated, weird aspect of the creatures. So yeah, you can see the... I didn't really spend a lot of time on this, but I wanted to try to work in detail to make it kind of match up with the rest of the tail. As you can see, I'm trying to add a little bit of detail in there. And I believe this is close to being done here. You can see the toothiness of it. I had some green stuff left over, so I used that to repair a future project. And there it is, the final project is done. The tail is blended nicely in with the original model. It doesn't, nothing too fancy, but, you know, I mean, this is not a project I really wanted to sink a bunch of hours into, so for a, you know, 30-minute sculpt job, that's not that bad. And as you can see, it looks great. All fixed up from its previous owner. This big old dragon miniature is an excellent miniature to put on a D&D table. Here I compared it to the huge red dragon from the board game. And here I compared it to that Papo dinosaur. So yes, I ended up buying that for 11 bucks. It was a really good deal. So for a total of $16, these two miniatures will now grace my table. An amazing deal for two really great minis.
Have a great day, and as always, thank you for watching the video.